Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another visual pattern challenge. Today we have bubblegum. Here is bubble one, bubble two, bubble three. I guess this is how many pieces of gum went into blowing each bubble. And by the time we get to bubble four, that's going to be a pretty big mouthful of gum. And that's your challenge. How many pieces of gum went into bubble number four? And if you can do that, can you predict what gigantic amount of bubble gum goes into making bubble number 43? And can you write an equation that could be used to predict the number of pieces of bubble gum in any step at all? So that's the challenge. If you'd like to accept it, pause the video and see what you can do. Okay, so let's see if we can predict step four, bubble number four, just by seeing if we can find a pattern visually here. I guess one thing I'm noticing is the number of columns. So I have one column and then two columns and then three columns. So I'm guessing we're going to have four columns and one of them is going to be longer, right? So maybe three short ones and one long one, because here we have one short and one long and then two short and one long. So it always is one long there. And let's see, I guess this is easier to see in steps 2 and 3, so I'm going to ignore step 1 for a minute. The short columns, they're 2 long in step 1 and 3 long in step 3. And I guess if you think of this as the short column, maybe this is 1 long in step 1. So it's always the step number long. So if this is step 4 or bubble 4, we're going to have these shorter columns being 4 long. Now let's look at the long column. Here it's 1, 2, 3. Here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like it's going up by 2 every time. And I guess I was thinking of this as the short column, but if we think of this as the long column, I guess that's going up from 1 to 3 to 5. So I'm guessing this is going to be 7. Hope that makes sense. So that would be 12 plus 7 is 19. So right now that's my prediction for step number 4, for bubble number 4. But let's analyze these numbers to see if I'm off base here or if that looks right. So we're going to make a chart with the step number and the number of pieces of gum in each step. So in step 1 we've just got 1. In step 2 that's 5 already. And in step 3 so that's 9, 10, 11. And in step 4, I'm saying 19. Now, just looking at these numbers, I'm thinking this must be quadratic. But let's take the difference here. 5 minus 1 is 4. 11 minus 5 is 6. And 19 minus 11 is 8. So whoops, not 18, 8. So I'm not getting a constant in the differences. So I know it's not linear. Let's take the difference of the differences. So 6 minus 4, that's 2. And 8 minus 6 is also 2. Aha. When you get a constant in the difference of the differences, you know it's quadratic. And this 2 tells us, if we divide that 2 by 1, you get your coefficient for your x squared term. So we know x squared with that coefficient of 1 is going to be our leading term here. And the 19 does seem to fit with this pattern. So I guess I'm more confident about the 19 guess. So let's see, how should we approach this? We could try graphing out x squared, or blocking it out in each of these steps and seeing what's left over. Actually, I'm going to try that today. So here's x squared, right? 1 squared is just 1. Here's step 2 squared, and that leaves 1 left over. And here's 3 by 3, so that's 3 squared, and it leaves 2 left over. Aha! So it looks like we're always adding something to the x squared, and that something is 1 less than the step number. Actually, we could think of step 4 as, instead of 7, as 4 plus 3, and then we'd have our 4 by 4 with 3 left over, and that would follow the same pattern. And I guess the adding part here, we can think of this as plus 0 pieces of gum. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3 extras. So that extra beyond the x squared is just the step number minus 1. So we're adding the step number minus 1. And I think that's it for our equation. It's x squared plus x minus 1. Let's double check that that works. In step 1, that would be 1 squared plus 1 minus 1. 1 plus 1 minus 1, that's going to be 1, so that works. How about in step 2? 2 squared plus 2 minus 1. So now it should become pretty obvious. Here's our 2 squared. 2 minus 1 is 1. Yeah, this is working out. You can go ahead and check that with step number 3 if you like, but I'm confident that this is the right thing now. So to find how many pieces of gum in step 43, we just plug 43 into this equation. So that would be y equals 43 squared plus 43 minus 1. And let's see, that's 1849 for the 43 squared. And 43 minus 1 is 42. So we're adding that. And that is 1891, I think. You can double check my math on that one, but I think we're going to have 1,891 pieces of gum in bubble 43. Well, how did that go for you? Did you see the quadratic pattern in there? Did you get 19 for step number 4? Let me know. Thanks, everybody.